Khabib, January 20th. Do you know what January 20th is?
3 days before the Conor fight.
3 days ago. Khabib is actually going to have some deep discussions. Some serious discussions with Uncle Dana. You know,
Dana, I want to fight your son.
So this chicken, I'm gonna kill your chicken. Russia,
This
100
is
million.
easy fight in lightweight division. Number one.
Yeah, so Khabib is coming to corner, I think Usman and somebody else at Fight Island.
An Islam fight.
No, Islam is in March.
He's fighting at Las Vegas, right?
I'm not sure, but I think Islam is in March. But Khabib's there for 2 fighters. I think it's Usman and somebody else. But so he'll be at the Conor card, cornering his cousin. People thought he was his brother. I thought it was his brother too. He looks like him. He looks like a mini bird. Yeah, but it's his cousin, so he's gonna corner his cousin for that fight card. But more importantly, he's talked, or this discussion with Dana White has been teased and talked about so much.
Legendary day.
Since I don't know how long ago. It was before that press conference with his GFC.
It was
not GFC.
Prophesized. It's been prophesized since like before he was born. It's a big day.
So there's a couple things that he's going to be talking about. So one of the things that he's going to talk about is his new fight organization that he bought out in Russia. So it was called Gorilla FC, and now it's called EFC. It's a Russian promotion for MMA that he's trying to bring up and use potentially as like a feeder league for the UFC. So he would have his champions and his top contenders potentially have like a bridge contract, or a contract that could transfer over to the UFC, and they could bring the influence that they have in the Russia into the UFC. So continue the uprising of the Russians. If you look at how many Russians there are today compared to like 5-10 years ago, it's like substantially higher.
And not just Russia, East Europe.
Yeah, Eastern Europe as well. But I think the majority of people that will be coming or fighting in EFC would be like Russian people.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that he's going to come to talk to Dana about. But the other thing, which is like the elephant in the room, is the UFC lightweight title. So Dana has come out for many times now and saying that, hey, I'm not going to strip Khabib. The impression, he's also mentioned that he thinks that he can convince Khabib to come back. So the impression that I get is he doesn't want to strip him until he sees him in person, talks to him, and says, you know what, this is my offer for you to come back and fight. What do you think? The next step is, or so what we thought, or what we talked about, I don't know if you remember, was Tony Ferguson versus Charles Oliveira was a huge factor in this January 20th conversation, because Tony Ferguson has always been, in Khabib's eyes, the most competitive fight out there for him at lightweight. Before he faced Dustin, before he faced Conor, all that kind of stuff, he's always been correlated. He's always been synonymous with Tony Ferguson, his career especially. That fight fell out 5 times now, I think, or 4 times. So he came out in that same press conference. He was like, I will come back for $100 million, which was probably like $100 million, which is like a stupid amount of money, or something competitive. If Tony won that fight against Charles Oliveira, especially impressively, I think Khabib would have came back.
I don't think so.
But
I don't
now,
think so. Because that Gaethje fight, I think it threw everything like off the table. You know, if Tony Ferguson won that fight, then I think the fight would have happened. But since he lost to Gaethje, and then Khabib, he fought Gaethje, he beat Gaethje, right? Then there was a point of fighting Ferguson.
Because Khabib doesn't necessarily do MMA math like that. He doesn't say, okay, because Tony lost to Gaethje,
and
I beat Gaethje, there's no point. No, I don't do that. You do that. Speak for yourself. So I think if Tony would have won that fight, he would have came back. Especially because He's always talked about his father. His late father also spoke about Tony Ferguson being like a very competitive matchup and somebody that would give Khabib some sort of competitive challenge in the octagon. If he won, January 20th would have been a completely different situation. Now, the only thing that Dana really has on the table is Conor and GSP potentially. I don't think Dana likes GSP anymore these days.
With the Bisping fight,
it's really Conor and potentially a huge payday, which is kind of hard to sell to a guy that doesn't really care about the money. But it also has to be noted that Khabib is doing so many things now. He's so involved he has a new Russian organization. He has schools. He has different outreach programs. He needs money, right? He wants money to be funded into these programs. So what better than to have it funded by yourself? Well, like you make a cool $50 million. Why not go there, beat the same guy that you beat already in Conor and make that money? So I think they're having two meetings. I think they're having one on January 20th and one a little bit later, like a dinner. But
steak dinner with burgers.
It's going to be interesting. Please, I want
You know I
Diet
deserve
Coke.
this. You know I deserve this. 2 burger, double cheese.
Give me one chicken.
Cola and ice.
So, January 20th is going to be very, very interesting. I don't think it's going to go as planned. In terms of I don't think it's gonna go as Dana wish it goes. Dana wants that conversation on January 20th to be like, "Hey Khabib, you want to come back?" And Khabib goes, "Yeah, let's go." And then Dana goes, "Yeah, let's do it." And then they have a fight, but I don't think that's how it's gonna happen.
Listen, I'll tell you my prediction, okay? Before you say yours, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's gonna happen, okay? Khabib's gonna go there. I think he is gonna relinquish. I think he's gonna give that title away. I think then sometime in the summer, sometime in the fall, I think there's going to be more talking about the GSP fight. I think GSP's going to come back to fight somebody. I think he's going to fight Islam Makhachev, okay? And then I think after that it's going to be GSP and Khabib.
GSP and Khabib? Yeah, that's a potential. So if he goes on January 20th and Dana says, listen, look, Conor's going to fight on January 23rd.
Yeah.
How about you wait? See if he wins. If he wins and you're down to face him in a rematch for that title to
big money,
and make like a huge dollar payday that would be bigger than the first one, most likely.
Way bigger.
The first one, way bigger. Let's do that. So let's just wait until to see if what Conor does and the Conor post-fight interview and all that kind of stuff.
If Conor loses, it's gonna be Conor and Poirier 3. So.
Yeah, I don't know if they would do an instant rematch, but so let's wait until that fight happens before we do anything for the title. So I think it's no news will really come out about the whole Khabib situation until maybe after the Conor fight. So the press conference people will come and say, okay, hey, Dana White. So now that the fight is over and let's just assume Conor wins. And Conor has won. Have you discussed that with Khabib? He'll be like, you know what? Yeah, and he'll give some hint. He'll be like, yeah, you know, we're talking about. He's interested. He is interested, or something like that on that avenue. Or when he asks him, they'll be like, oh no, he's out. We're gonna strip the title and make Conor the champion, or
as we previously discussed, if it's for $100 million, that fight's gonna happen, right? So
yeah, but you never know. I don't know if he's they're able to even give him $100 million. I don't know if that's even possible. But like $30 to $50 million, that I think that's doable for Khabib. But
you need some big sponsors.
This January 20th is not really talked about. I don't really see this date being thrown around, and I don't think any news will come out of this until after the Conor fight finishes. I think Dana's just gonna stonewall and be like, "Oh no, I haven't talked to Khabib or whatnot." He'll just be like, "Yeah, we talked, but we're gonna wait a little bit or something like that."
Yeah, it makes sense. I just think that I think what's gonna happen is that like as you're saying before, I think after the Conor fight, I think after he wins, I think he's gonna say something crazy in the post-fight interview. He's gonna piss somebody off, right? Most likely Khabib, and then in the post-fight conference, that's when Mr. Dana White's gonna reveal everything and reveal the plan. So we'll see.
So this is a humble Conor too, because I was just thinking, I was like, they're gonna probably cross paths somewhere, because there's like weigh-ins, there's stare-offs, there's interviews and stuff like that. So there's a big chance that they see each other at least there. But this Conor, as of recent, isn't as brash as like previous Conors that we've seen. Like even from like the first Conor and Khabib fight, he's not the same person that he is in 2021. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens.